Hello everyone and welcome to this episode of The Railway Tales. This time we're going to be looking at 4079 Pendennis Castle.
Chugging down the tracks, the whistle blows. Every mile a story, every stop a glow. From steam to diesel, the rails unwind. Railway tales take you on a ride through time. Hear the rhythm of the wheels, feel the heart of the rails. Stories unfold like tracks on endless trails. Through mountains, towns, and open plains. Come aboard, the journey remains. Railway tales, where the stories never end. On iron horses, with every bend. From sunrise rides to moonlit trails, hop on board, it's Railway Tales.
4079 Pendennis Castle was built in Swindon in 1924 and began her working life out of Old Oak Common Shed. Pendennis Castle worked mostly in the southwest and in southern Wales as well, but sadly was withdrawn in 1964 after doing over 1 million miles in regular service. Pendennis Castle's claim to fame dates from 1925, when the Great Western Railway lent the locomotive to the London North Eastern Railway for trials against Sir Nigel Gresley's mighty new Pacifics. Working 16 coach trains on the East Coast Main Line from London's King's Cross, the stalwart castle covered itself in soot and glory, outperforming its bigger and larger competitors on the LNER. Its exploits were the talk of every schoolboy in Britain, and the Great Western Railway rather cheekily sent Pendennis Castle to stand alongside Flying Scotsman at the 1925 British Empire exhibition held at Wembley, with a notice proclaiming it to be the most powerful passenger express locomotive in Britain. On the 9th of May 1964, a special train was arranged by the Western region to run from Paddington to Plymouth. It was to commemorate the run done by City of Truro 60 years previously, where the locomotive was claimed to achieve 100 miles an hour. Permission was given to attempt to achieve 100 miles an hour on the return leg from Bristol to Paddington via Badminton. Now sadly, Pendennis Castle didn't quite make the 100. She only made 96 miles an hour, due to the fact that she had melted her fire bars due to the intensity of the heat inside the firebox of the locomotive. In 1977, the locomotive was sold to a Hammersley Iron Company in Australia. 4079 left England in the summer of 1977. And when arriving in Australia, it was looked after the Philborough Railways Historical Society, formed by Helmsley employees, and worked many excursion trains through the Cheshire Ranges. A highlight of the Australian sovereign was a visit to Perth in 1989 to operate alongside its old standing rival Flying Scotsman. And this tour was in aid of the bicentennial of Australia, as featured in my Flying Scotsman video. However, due to increasing traffic on the Hammersley Railway combined with operational difficulties, 4079 was stored out of use for several years. Her final steaming in Australia took place in October of 1994, and whilst in Australia it was given the name River Fay, River of Iron, by its owners in 1978. With prospects for an operational future in Australia looking uncertain, Hammersley Iron began to consider their options. The main concern was to find a new home that could offer a secure future, which would recognise the significance of England's heritage locomotives, and to provide a higher degree of public accessibility. The decision to offer Pendennis Castle to the Great Western Society was made in the first few days of the year 2000. In return, the Society agreed to arrange and pay for the repatriation and to restore it to full mainline running condition. The locomotive was formally presented to the Society by Hammersley Iron on the 19th of April 2000. Following a 10-week voyage, Pendennis Castle finally made it back to British soil on the 8th of July of the same year. Just over 23 years after it left England, it had returned. Now, Pendennis Castle became the second locomotive to circumnavigate the globe after its rival, the Flying Scotsman. After a very long overhaul stretching almost 27 years, Pendennis Castle finally moved under its own steam in February of 2022. Since returning to steam, Pendennis Castle is normally based at the Didcot Railway Centre, but has been seen on other railways up and down the UK hauling special trains, including recently in November of 2025 when Locomotive 7903 4-marked haul sadly failed whilst at the Gloucester and Warwickshire Railway, and Pendennis Castle was called in as a replacement and has stayed over at the Gloucester and Warwickshire Railway during the festive season of 2025. And that was a quick look into Pendennis Castle, the second locomotive to circumnavigate the globe, but the first one to reach Australia. Quite an interesting history with this locomotive. But if you enjoyed this one, please do give me a like down below, and in the comments please do let me know if there's any locomotives or railways that you would like me to talk about in my next videos coming up. All that's left to say is thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all on the next episode of The Railway Tales.
Chugging down the tracks, the whistle blows. Every mile a story, every stop a glow.